Hi, Jurga.
Hello.
Nice to see you here. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for inviting.
Sure. So, yeah, we'll be talking today with Jurga. Jurga, as I said, she's my colleague in Shopify. We work in two different teams in Vilnius. And I know also Jurga from Vilnius Girls Code because she's a co-founder of this Lithuanian organization. And I'm also organizer there. You can see I'm like promoting with my t-shirt, Vilnius Girls Code. And yeah, I know Jurga all the way back, even before I moved to Lithuania. So we have a nice friendly connection, and I think we'll have a nice chat today. And the first question was about throughout the day, do you work on one or many projects? Well, I guess I can start. For me, it's quite like easy. Currently, I work just on one project, and yeah, sometimes I have to work on another one, and I'm like switching between them, but it's not like throughout the day I open code for one project, then for another one. No, it's more like few weeks on one project, then maybe some feature comes in the second one, so I take a day or two, and after that I'm back to project number one. So I feel like I'm working just on one project per day. So what about you?
Yeah, like maybe per day, it is usually one project. Sometimes it's two. So, but for example, I don't feel like I work on one project in this company. I do think that I usually have like in my team, the project itself consists of multiple small packages and projects. So basically, I have to support them all. And at some point, there were like 4 or 5 even applications which I had to support. So time to time I had to switch from one to another. And for example, in my previous companies where I worked, I usually worked on only actual one project. Like all the time it would be one like code base, or it would be one project I had to support. So basically for me, I usually feel like it's more than one. And yeah, sometimes even during the day I have to switch my code twice, for example.
Yeah, for me it happens, but like not so often. Yeah, but you know, then such thing happens as context switching. And for those of you who is not familiar with this term, context switching is basically when you switch between like two unrelated things or more than two. Like you jump between projects, you jump between tasks, you jump between context. That's why it's called so. And basically this process of context switching, it makes developers not happy because when we look at the code, we kind of like very focused on that. And, you know, switching between different things, it takes like quite an amount of mental load, and at least makes me unhappy. So how do you, Jurga, deal with that? Like, do you have like some recipes, or it's unavoidable? Could you share about context switching?
Yeah, for me, like at least in this company, I usually have like if I have like a couple of tasks to do, usually I do one by one, of course. But sometimes you have to support maybe 2 things at one time, and this happens usually if you, for example, create a pull request and someone is looking into it, or you have let's say you have a QA working on your task, so checking it for bugs and things like that. So in those cases, you have I don't sit like half a day, you know, waiting for any task, like waiting for feedback. I usually go and do something, and then sometimes QA comes and says like, look, I found one bug. You fix the bug, you go to new task, and then she comes and says like, look, another bug, and you want to release quicker, so basically you usually try to fix them, you know. So basically that is then I have to switch context. Of course, it's a little bit maybe annoying because you kind of do a job, but this job is slow, and you don't feel like an achievement, you know, like doing small stuff and not releasing is the achievement. So it might be a little bit annoying, but on the other hand, you know, it's part of the process. And in the end, when you release, you know that you release a really good code. So basically, it's maybe a little bit more motivating, you know.
I see. And you know, you're saying like you're not waiting half of the day for feedback, right? you try like to do something else in this time. But for me personally, I realized that sometimes if I have to wait, I don't know, like half an hour or hour, it's really sometimes better not to do anything at all, and literally just mentally rest. I don't know, like go for a walk or lie down on a couch and browse something. Because I personally, when I start doing something in this like half an hour, which I have, or a bit more, I know I will not finish it, right? Before the feedback will come. So I know I will not finish it. It will be half done. I will be frustrated about it. So then I will be upset and my productivity falls basically. So like sometimes I actually consciously choose not to put more work in those like small breaks to avoid this context switching, you know. But yeah, sometimes I feel like guilty about it. Like maybe I should be more productive and do something in between tasks. But yeah, that's like, it's a difficult question. You have to choose either this or that, and both have its own disadvantages, right?
But I guess like there might be even a smaller tasks. For example, yeah, if you take some maybe coding task, it can be long. You will not make it in half an hour, let's say, right?
Yeah.
But maybe you can read emails meanwhile. You know, you don't need to read emails like each time you get it like right away.
Yeah,
but you can do it like in those moments when it is a better timing.
Yeah, and I liked your point about like switching to QA, for example, because to have context switching, you don't even need to have like many projects, right? Even if you have one project, for me it also goes. Like some days I just start from, I don't know, team planning meeting, then I have, I don't know, I'm interviewing someone, then I have some coffee chat with a colleague, then I start a task, and then QA comes with a bug. And yeah, basically I just jumped between like different things, even though I technically work just on one project, you know. So yeah, it can be difficult even without many projects to work on, right? Yeah, what I wanted to note about this, like in Shopify, we have such a cool thing as no meeting Wednesdays. And basically, we're not supposed to schedule any meetings on Wednesdays. It kind of creates this environment when developers can just be in the flow and like not get distracted by meetings. Like, is it helping you, like having those days?
Yes, of course. Like I was waiting for them a lot because you can like concentrate and you feel more, but you achieved more, you know. Although like on other days in some of those meetings, you know, they might be very useful as well. And being in those meetings might be some kind of achievement as well. But like when you feel like you want to code, so that one spare day for just coding is usually very nice. It's like very relaxing as well.
Yeah, well, for me, it's like not exactly so. Like I joked also in Instagram once, like, oh yeah, we have like no meeting Wednesday, no one will distract me. And then I say, I'm just kidding. I'm my biggest distraction, you know, not the meetings actually. So yeah, like I realized I need to do like better time management, and it's not about like attending meetings. It's more about like working on my own personal focus. Yeah. So that's what my conclusion.
Also, for us, like in Shopify, we also have a lot of meetings. So basically, you could go each day, like to multiple of them, you know.
Each hour.
One very good thing that happens here is that you can skip a meeting if it's not really relevant for you. It's like written in some documents for us, like a guide how to attend those meetings. And also they are recorded. So basically, you should not feel bad that you leave the meeting if you see that it's not useful to you. And also if you want to watch some meetings, for example, I don't know, company update or yeah. So basically those kind of meetings you can watch at any time. Like you can, I don't know, do it on no meeting Wednesday, for example, if it's convenient for you, if you have time and will to do it.
Yeah, that's like a great perk of a company which is fully remote, you know, that everything is recorded. You are not afraid to skip anything. So yeah, that's something I also like about Shopify. And I wanted to share also about context switching. Like one thing that helps me is actually pair programming, right? So I've been doing like pair programming literally each day last week. I've been doing it like with our colleague Laura, and we were pairing each day for like around 2-3 hours, And besides the fact that it's super fun just to be with other developer, on a call and explore things together, that's also great for my context switching problem, because even if some email, comes during our pairing, I will be like, okay, I will check it later because I'm on the call now with the person, we're working together. I cannot switch and check some email, or, I see some messages, I will not be checking it because I'm with other person on the call. So it's actually very motivating me to stay more focused when I'm pairing with someone else. So I'm using it not necessarily when there is some hard, complicated task. Literally last week I told Laura, if we will not pair, I will not accomplish anything today. I'm super distracted. It's hard to focus. Can we work together on something? And she agreed. So it was quite productive and nice for me. And maybe you can share your experience of pair programming.
Yeah, so I also do it sometimes, time to time. And usually if I have some problem, I try to find and seek help, or if I want to learn something from someone, so I try to ask them to pair program, and maybe I can shadow their working process, right? Also the same, if someone wants to pair program with me, I am free for that. So basically, yeah, I do that sometimes, but also maybe I don't do it very often, because for me, pair programming is also nice because I can connect with my colleagues, right? So basically, it's the way I meet them, talk with them more about work, and have a better relationship. So it's good. But also during pair programming, you don't do twice of the work amount. You do just one, like a one person would work, and maybe even slower, because you talk, you share ideas, which is not bad, because you learn and share things, so it's good. But also it's not something I do very often. Because sometimes it's better to concentrate on my own as well. And I guess it depends also on the people, someone likes to work a little bit separated, someone likes to talk with other people, so basically. But still, I think it's a very good thing to do time to time. It's a mandatory thing, especially if you work online. So
good. Totally. The next question is creation of UI design. Is it part of your daily work, or is it done by UI colleagues? Jurga?
Yeah, so I don't create designs. I tried a couple of times to do that, but I realized that for me it's very confusing. I kind of lose what is beautiful, what is not, what is useful, what is not, and in the end I just frustrate, and I'm not sure if what I did looks good. So basically I leave this for UX UX designers in our team, of course, because in my company I'm not even probably allowed to do that very often, maybe on small projects, on my own projects, but even in my own projects I don't like it. For me it's frustrating and tiring, and also I feel like if I want to do both things good, I have to concentrate on one of them. I can be a good front-end developer and a good UX person. So basically I am one or another,
Yeah, I feel you. For me, the same. I'm not creating any designs at work ever, nor in this job, nor in previous job. I know there are some front-enders who are, for example, freelancers, and they also create UI designs. And it makes sense, because if they work with the client directly, then they can create design, they can implement it, and it's kind of the whole cycle just for them. But in a more or less big company, in the companies, I worked in a company where there was 10 people, and we already had our own designer. Usually those roles are separated. But at the same time, at all the jobs I had, always I had the power to recommend something. For example, if I see that, okay, there is a design, but it's, I don't know, not logical in my opinion, or it's too hard to implement technically, it just happens you see and you're like, no, this will take I don't know, 10 days, but we need to fit it in 2. Then, of course, I could always raise this issue and comment on this, and designer will hear me. So basically, officially, it's not part of my job to create UI, but I can influence it if there is a need. So that's basically it.
And for example, in big companies or also on internet, you can find the design systems and libraries like Material UI. You can use it, right? And it's actually, if you are not a good UX designer, you still can create some kind of design, you know, for your application,
I guess so.
for example. Yeah. So basically, it's not like you do. You cannot do any of that work, but if you want it to be like really accessible, really thought through, you know, so this is a designer's job to look into it and make it really comfortable to use, you know. So basically, I leave it to the professionals, you know.
Yeah, I personally agree with you. Okay, to the next question. So with whom from the team do you communicate the most during the project?
Yeah, I actually communicate with everyone in the team usually because, you know, we have these meetings where we align on what we will do, what is our goals and things. So usually you talk with your PM, right, to set a goal.
Project manager.
Yeah, project manager. And you set a goal, you figure out some functionality which is not clear to you, right? Then we have UX designer. So I actually talk with UX designer very often because I need to align on how the things should look like, what is missing. Like maybe there are some, I know, interactivity missing. For example, you have a button, but and you kind of supposed to open modal is not there, you know. So you have to talk with the UX designer and ask what should be there, how it should look. So you clarify if something is not clear. And after you start to work, so if I start to work, I usually work with front-end developers. So basically, they look into my code, you know, they can leave some feedback in that. But
yes, we do that. I do check your code and leave feedback.
Yeah, and also maybe sometimes, you know, you can ask how to do it better. For example, you can discuss. So basically, I talk a lot with other front-end developers. Also, we align on tasks and we like share them, who is doing what. And also we talk a lot with backenders because backenders is providing us data. So we need to like align on the data if something is missing, if something is needed extra, you know. So if we need to send data, how we should send that data to them. So basically we communicate a lot with them. And also like I sometimes communicate with them on how to build an app, how to set infrastructure or something if I need that, like if there is some issues with that. So we help there as well. And in the final step, I usually communicate with quality assurance. So QA usually checks your code and goes through, finds some bugs, you know. So I have to fix those bugs, and then it's approved. We can release the feature. So basically, I communicate a lot. Like mostly it's frontenders and QA, I guess, the most like percentage of time are them, but also all others like.
Yeah, it just depends on the stage you're in, right? Like in the
exactly.
beginning with UX designer, because you kind of just look at the task, and with backenders because you need to start with some data they are sending, but throughout the process with other frontenders and at the end with QA. So for each other team member, you communicate with all the roles, just at different stages, right? Yeah. I would say also, like, similar for me, but except for backenders, like with backenders, I can't say that I communicate like on every task. Like sometimes there are just front-end tasks and there is like no backend involved, so I will not communicate with backenders. But with frontenders and with frontenders, I will communicate each time.
It's the same with a project manager or, for example, data person, right? So basically, it's not really each task because sometimes we just agree on what will be done and in what sequence, and that's it. Like you stop communicating. So the same with backenders, I guess, and UX as well. Like it's not all the tasks you need clarifications and designs maybe. So basically, not always, you know.
And the next question is again about teams. How often do you communicate with people from other teams, like outside yours?
Yeah, so it depends as well. Like for example, before I would rarely communicate with them. It depends on my project. So basically, everything was aligned by project manager, and we had some tasks we were working on. So I would not that often communicate with other people, but but still, like I do sometimes. I need like I don't know, like you need some communication with HR or finances in the end sometimes to clarify some other things like operational. But for in Shopify we also have a craft meeting.
Yeah, I can clarify this how we work in Shopify. There is like a big product, right? And several teams work on this product. So product can have many projects underneath, and like one team can take one project or one team can take few projects. So on the one big product, there will be several teams involved, and each team will have their own like UX person, front-enders, back-enders. So yeah, when Jurga mentioned like craft meetings, like front-end craft or back-end craft meetings, we mean like all the people not in the whole Shopify, of course, because yeah, we have like several thousands of people, but people just from like closest like project or product you have. Yeah, so it's how many do we have like now in our craft since we like work in new product?
So maybe around
like 15 maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, we have like those bi-weekly meetings with like 10 other people, and we communicate on like generic like front-end questions. And about me, like how often I communicate with people from other teams. Well, not that often. Like if there are some questions, I can ask like UX designer or project manager, and then they will just like find out everything I need themselves and pass the info back to me. But sometimes I ask help from other developers from other teams with new project. Like now, it happens more often, right? But when we have like project which lasts already for some time and I know more about it, then I will not communicate too much with people from other teams. So also it depends on the stage in which project is. Yeah. So the question is, from your experience, how many people are involved in one project? I can start with that, and I want to say that there should be a distinction between like what is like team, what is project, what is product, right? Because projects, they can be like really different. Like sometimes a project just takes like one person, sometimes a project can take 50 people. It really depends on the project, right? From my experience, I worked on the projects like just 2 people. Like a few months ago, I had project like to implement a survey for people who register on the website, and this project involved a UX designer. He basically created designs, and me and backender, we worked just 2 of us, and it was enough. Of course, QA was checking, but the UX designer and QA, they always kind of will be present, I think. But from developers, just 2 people were there. But also, I worked on the projects in Shopify where like 2 teams were involved in the project. So it was like 10 people or more, you know. But if we talk about team sizes, then in previous jobs, I had like 6-7 people in a team. In Shopify, it's actually much bigger than I worked before. Like in my current team, we have 10 people. And at maximum, we had like 12 people in the team here at Shopify. Yeah. And what about you, Jurga?
In my team, there's 11 people, but it also depends on the company. And even in Shopify, there are teams with 5-6 people. So, so I guess it depends a lot on multiple things.
Okay, I see. And we have a question right now live. Do you think it is beneficial for front-end developer to learn UX UI? Would it help on the daily tasks while working as a front-end developer? I can actually take this one. I think there is a specific area of user experience which every front-ender and in general every person who builds digital products should learn. It's accessibility, right? And accessibility, it's a practice of making websites accessible to all the people, whether they have like slow internet, old devices, or maybe they have some disability. It's very important because I remember statistics like around like 15 or 20 people in the world have some kind of disability. And if we are building like websites which are not taking this into account, then we are like cutting off 15 to 20% of people. That's like around 1 billion people on Earth, right? And this accessibility practice is connected a lot with the UX, or user experience. And we as frontenders, I think we should get acquainted with this part, and it will be very beneficial for the clients of the product we're building, and it will be very beneficial for the business, because there will be like a wider range of clients who can use the product. So yeah, I think that would be definitely part which is needed, you know. And besides that, I personally don't think that it's needed to know how to do UI, for example. I never learned it, and it never was needed, and there were never like an issue or expectations from me to do UI design, right? So that I think is not that needed for front-ender. The next question, like which I got shortly before the live, was does the imposter syndrome happen to you as a woman who work in IT? So Jurga, does it happen to you? Do you have imposter syndrome? Did you have it before?
I think I had it before, because I would feel like I don't understand very well, but I feel like I cannot say something, because if someone will ask me, I will not be able to answer it, you know. But like with experience, and later on, I realized that in the end, if you can solve tasks, and you work enough in the company, you know the stack well, you know, you can teach others, and you don't need to know everything, you know, like there are other people who know some parts, so you can cover together, you can pair program and figure out things. So basically, there are ways to work together, and it's good. It's okay not to know everything, because even a front-end topic is very wide, and so many frameworks, and so many good practices. So you cannot know everything, and that's okay. Like, it's expected. It's a good way to know basics very well, and then I think you're good in this field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could say that it definitely happened to me, and still happens sometimes, the imposter syndrome. But like just a few years before that, I was like really suffering. Like I really was thinking that, oh, I'm like worse than everyone, or I don't know what I'm doing, you know, oh, I'm here by accident, you know. And basically all the like achievements which I was getting, it was hard to just attribute it to my own knowledge, you know. Yeah, I definitely was feeling it. But now, after how many, 7 or 8 years in IT, now finally I feel more confident, you know. And I could say, yeah, I'm doing like great job, and I know what I'm doing. Not at all times, yeah, but it's definitely now better than when I was just starting. So yeah, I can say that. Do you have anything more to add?
Yeah, I remember I had this as well, where I thought that if I know something, then it means everybody knows that. You know, I remember this feeling that if I know, it's not an achievement. So basically, I tried to set goals to myself and think, if I can do this or this, that means I achieved actually something. And maybe even with a manager, you can add those goals, and if you see that you achieve them, it's very good, you know, for you and your, like, how you feel in the company.
Yeah, I think with imposter syndrome, it's really important, how you say, to track progress, and not just to track in your head, but how you mentioned, like make some documents, make goals, you know, involve someone else, like a manager, to like track this with you. Yeah, then it will be like, if you will have a progress, you will not just miss it, you know, it will be there marked. So yeah, that's something like I am doing now. So that's a bit better. But yeah, with things, how you said, like, oh, if I know that everyone must know it, yeah, I totally had it. And I had it like when I was preparing for some meetups or conferences where I spoke, right? And it's so hard, you know, to come up with some like with something, because you think, oh, everyone knows this topic, how will I perform, you know, if everyone spoke about it 10 times, you know, over. But then you learn that, okay, there are always new people in IT. Someone didn't know this yet, you know, trying to remember yourself. Like, oh, at some point, I also learned about what is API from someone, from somewhere, from some article, right? And what if I will write my own article, and it also will be like first connection to what is API to someone else, you know? So yeah, like imagining like this from different perspective, like helped me to get rid of this imposter syndrome as well. Yeah, that's
You know what
basically it.
helped to me? I actually created a diary. So each day I write what I did that day, like what I did, what I learned, on what things I did during the day, like for the team and stuff like that. So it's good for me because next day we usually post what tasks were implemented.
Yes.
So it's good for me to remember. But I remember when at some point, like we have to write a little self-reflection, like an article, a small like paragraph about what I did during this year, you know, what I achieved. And this diary helps me so much to remember each thing I did. Like I go over and I see like I did that, I learned that, I was participating here and here in the meetings, and that was wow, impressive. Like for me, it was like, oh wow, I did like a lot of things during past half a year, let's say. So I actually recommend to do that because it makes you feel proud of what you've done during the half a year or a year. I mean, how long you have this diary? So yeah.
Yeah, I love this idea. I don't do this for myself, I will be honest. Maybe like I should. Actually, I started my Instagram because I wanted to like to fight my imposter syndrome. And I thought, okay, that will be like a visual way for me to see, like to record my achievements and what I do, you know, and then I will just open this Instagram. I will say, okay, I learned about this, I did this, you know, and it will help me. And it actually helped, you know, so, but I just don't do this like daily, you know, I post, about some achievements once in a while, right? And that's enough, but daily is definitely a nice practice, right? And I also try to do such thing for colleagues. Like I don't always mark my own achievements at work when they happen, but in the past few months, I started to do this thing for one of my colleagues. Whenever they like do something nice, I marked it in the note, you know, and now we have those like half a year review, and I'm thinking, okay, I can actually help them with my feedback. And I don't need like to now remember all the things they did in the past half a year. I have already like a note for them. So, and you know, when I remember it, actually a lot of people helped me to also go over my imposter syndrome, right? It wasn't just like me trying to get over it and finding ways, but it also was like good feedback from my teammates, people around me.
So we have this couple of systems in Shopify as well, where you can write on a board some nice note to a colleague, or during the retro we have like an appreciation board, so we put some good thoughts for colleagues. So I like those the most, to say thank you for someone, because no one actually has to do anything for you. If they do, it's nice to say thank you, and it's nice to get those thank you as well. So basically it's motivating to go forward.
Yeah, sounds lovely. We don't have any more questions now, so we can actually wrap up. Thank you, Jurga, very much for talking with me. I enjoyed this experience. I want to do more such developer talks, you know. So I hope you also enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you for inviting. Actually, it's my first time, so it was very interesting.
Nice. All right, then thank you and bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.